More than 3 billion people worldwide are living in poverty.
22,000 children die each day from poverty. About 72 million children who are primary school age were not in school in 2005.
According to research, every year 2 million children die from preventable diseases. A child dies every 10 seconds from hunger-related diseases.
19 million children worldwide are not vaccinated.
1 out of 6 infants are born with a low birth weight in developing countries.
These figures are oppressing. Millions are suffering. Millions are about to stop witnessing His creation. Poverty has to alleviate even in our own tiny means.
Poverty is more than just the lack of income and productive resources for sustainable livelihoods. It includes hunger and malnutrition, limited access to education and other basic services, social discrimination, and exclusion. Perceptions of those in poverty are extremely negative. They are stereotyped as lacking warmth and competence. The response to this stereotype is often contempt, harmful behaviors towards this group, and belief that poverty results from personal failing. In the context of poverty as income disparity, child poverty typically gets defined as children living in low-income families at or below this poverty line. We often think of childhood as a time of innocence. It's a time for learning, a time for play, a time for exploring the world and all the possibilities it offers you. Children living in poverty don't have that experience. Their world is not a kind, caring place. In their world, they struggle to survive.
Children living in poverty are more likely to develop chronic illnesses due to lack of adequate nutrition and healthcare early in life.
Anxiety, fear, and a lack of self-confidence can keep them from pursuing new opportunities. If they are abused or taken advantage of, they often don't have the skills or resources to speak up for themselves and can easily be ignored, which leads to more abuse.
Growing up in poverty also affects a child's psychology. Children who might have otherwise grown up confident and secure instead believe the world wants them to fail. So they do. They stop trying to make life better. They tend to give up. They growing up believing that the world doesn't get better and their situation is never going to change. Poverty affects what childhood looks like. To be a child in poverty means to live without resources, without choices, without a voice, without hope. Poverty is a life defined by what isn't there. People living in poverty are more likely to live in disadvantaged neighborhoods and in overcrowded areas or unsuitable housing. Negative perceptions affect how people see themselves. Those experiencing poverty show significantly lower levels of confidence in their own ability to succeed. This has negative physical and psychological health consequences, along with reduced educational and professional attainment. Given the level of poverty around the world, it's easy to look at people in poverty and feel hopeless. Poverty reduction can seem impossible, but the truth is that poverty is an impossible problem. The answer is holistic or whole life care. There are many ways to actually reduce the poverty here in our country. Strategies were proposed for poverty to end. It would be to create jobs, raise minimum wage, support pay equity, and many more. But all these things, we as students wouldn't be able to provide. However, as married students, we are taught that small actions make big impacts. Giving these people part of their necessities will give them hope that someone out there cares for them and looks out for their well being. Billions around the world live their entire lives with inadequate incomes, unable to develop their God given talents or even thrive at a minimal level. But poverty is not inevitable. The eradication of poverty is possible. Society's failure to recognize that poverty is at the root of many of our social concerns is just one indication of our blindness. May God open our eyes to see the suffering of God's people and open our ears to hear God's call to do economic justice.